How many have ever heard of the doldrums? D-O-L-D-R-U-M-S. It's a literal word. It's a technical term, actually. I didn't realize that until recently. I always thought the doldrums was just like a figure of speech. It was just like a colloquialism. It's like the blues or the blahs. I've got the doldrums. I'm in the pits. I'm just having a bad day. I was talking to Dr. Brown about this, and he said, oh, yeah, we have a term for that in Missouri. It's called being in the mullygrubs. I don't know if you ever experienced that in your counterculture, but in Missouri, occasionally they get in the mullygrubs. It's like being in the doldrums, the blues, the blahs. And I always thought that was the meaning of the word. But I discovered that the doldrums is a literal place that exists on the earth, really close to the equator, about 5 degrees north or 5 degrees south of the equator, when the prevailing winds of the northern hemisphere, the jet stream of the northern hemisphere is flowing one direction, and the jet stream of the southern hemisphere is flowing the other direction. And in that place, close to the equator, and the hottest place on the earth, those winds literally cancel out each other. And the doldrums are a place where there's no wind, there is no breath, there's no air moving at all. Winds can cancel each other. And in the doldrums, it's a place where you get where it doesn't seem like there's any air. There's no wind, there's no breath. And it's a suffocating, horrible place to be. They tell me that in years gone by, when the ships, their only means of propulsion was wind, and you would hoist a sail and catch a full gale and get carried along, that if a ship accidentally sailed into the doldrums, that ship would often perish because it would never be able to get out of that place where there was no wind. They couldn't row out of it. They couldn't swim out of it. They had no diesel motor, no jet propulsion, no nuclear ability to turn the turbines and move out of that place. But the sailors would perish in the doldrums. A place where there's no breath, there's no air, it's not fresh. I believe that there are people, and this is really strong inside of me. It has been for several weeks. I believe there are people in Spring Hill, both in the church and outside of the church, that are in the doldrums. There's people in the culture that are in the doldrums. We see that every day. You see them walking down the street, and there's no life in their eyes. You look into their face, and it's like an empty, hollow shell of human existence. But the doldrums can happen to people in the church. The doldrums can happen to people in the ministry. Come on, I'm preaching pretty good right now. The doldrums can happen to people that are leading in worship, and they're singing an anointed words of worship, and the people of God with tears running down their face are experiencing the power of God. But the person that God is using at that particular time might be in a moment where they're not feeling anything. They're asking for a fresh breath from heaven to breathe on them.